Og Mads, I kommer jo efter 2 gode kampe, og så en knap så god kamp her mod Sønderjyske. Hvordan vil du evaluere den sidste tid, siden vi sidst var herude?
Det var overvejende positivt, til trods for, og nu er jeg billedet oven på kampen i Haderslev. Jeg synes selv i Haderslev, til trods for, at det var en rigtig dårlig kamp, især defensivt, at vi i forhold til tidligere sæsoner skaber 3 rigtig store chancer, som vi selvfølgelig ikke får prikket i. Men der var stadig tegninger til trods for, at vi spiller en dårlig kamp, at vi kunne få noget med, hvis vi havde været skarpe. Så det er jo trods alt et plus. Og så de 2 kampe forinden, synes jeg, var gode præstationer gennem 90 minutter. Så det er jo en pil op, men med et lille slag i selvtillid fra i søndags.
Er du selv ved at være træt af, at jeg ikke har fået scoret endnu?
Ja, det tror jeg ikke, man kan sige på andre ord.
Hvad mangler der lige det sidste på at få?
Ja, der mangler jo bare den gå i mål. Så det kommer forhåbentlig på fredag. Jeg vil sige, første step er nu, at de sidste 3 kampe, jeg har kommet med mange gode chancer. Og mange gode chancer for at skabe muligheder for de andre også. Så det har jo trods alt været positivt. Så havde det jo været lidt federe, hvis vi ikke havde tabt 3-0. Så havde jeg nok ikke tænkt lige så meget over de chancer der. Men det skal nok komme. Det er jeg ikke i tvivl om.
Kan du ikke prøve at sige lidt mere om, hvad det er, der har fungeret for dig i de sidste par kampe? Den position, du er kommet ind på efterhånden?
Jeg synes, det er svært at sige. Jeg synes jo egentlig, at vi havde en Herning-kamp, hvor vi spillede også en anden formation. Vi har jo lavet en del formationer i foråret for at få et eller andet til at fungere, hvor vi trods alt spillede en god kamp. Og så var det så med andre foretegn mod Viborg hjemme. Så det er svært at sige. Jeg synes bare, at vi har været gode til at finde nogle rum. Det har virket til at hjælpe, jeg vil sige, mere i det opbygningsspil at få en ekstra stopper ind, i forhold til at få lidt mere ro på bolden. Og det har skabt lidt mere plads til mig. Så kan man jo se, hvad selvtillid gør. Man lige pludselig driver lidt mere med bolden, og så skabe nogle lidt flere chancer, eller tage nogle flere chancer i sit spil. Og det er jo trods alt virket en smule den sidste uges tid, så det er jo bare dejligt.
Så er det, vi ser en Mads Frøkjær med lidt mere selvtillid end i starten, hvor du lavede det her fine interview med Viaplay, tror jeg, efter 6-0-kampen, hvor du sagde, at du spillede lidt med skuldrene herop over ørerne.
Ja, men,
selv inklusiv.
Ja, jeg tror, at det er tydeligt at se, at selvom vi lavede et par mål op til Sønderjyske kamp på hjemmebane, at det var jo stadig ikke fordi, at det var chanceskabelig fodbold over 90 minutter. Hvor man kan sige, der fik vi virkelig hul på bylden. Og jeg synes jo også, at vi skaber flere chancer, end vi scorer for. Og vi skaber også flere chancer, end vi scorer på et Haderslev. Så det virker jo til, at der begynder at komme nogle mønstre, der giver mening. Både for Wallis og mig og gør en der.
Du har tidligere sagt, at du skulle ind og være en legemarker med Wallis derinde. Hvordan synes du, det har fungeret her de seneste 3 kampe? Jeres samspil?
Jeg synes, ligesom alle andre offensive, så synes jeg, vi har spillet bedre. Sønderjysk kamp er der jo ikke rigtig nogen, der spiller godt, men til trods for det får vi jo skabt nogle chancer. Hvilket er positivt, det er en dårlig præstation. Men jeg synes jo, Wallis har fungeret godt med mig og med Arbæk og Mats, der er kommet konstant over siden. Og Sjov har gjort en sindssygt god figur også. Så det er også alle sammen, der har været bedre til at finde hinanden og skabe muligheder for hinanden. Det er jo bare noget sjovere, end det er, trods alt.
Hvor vigtigt er den kamp, vi skal spille på fredag i forhold til, jeg tænker, I gerne vil ud og spille Europa, have nogle medaljer måske?
Jamen, jeg kunne forstå på alle, jeg har snakket med i dag, at den er meget vigtig i forhold til det. Men altså, man vil altid vinde, uanset om der er noget spil eller ej. Så man skal jo ikke negligere, at det tydeligvis er meget vigtigt i forhold til matematisk at kunne nå noget. Men den er jo lige så vigtig i forhold til bare lige at få, få vasket 3-0'erne af fra i søndags. Og vise en bedre side af os selv med en masse energi, hvor det også står ovenpå, og ikke lidt bliver spist af modstander.
Hvad tænker du bliver nøglen til at få 3 point mod FC Nordsjælland?
Det simple er jo bare, at vi skal lave flere mål i dem. Og så forhåbentlig bliver det med samme præstationer som i Viborg og hjemme mod Sønderjyske, men ja, en god fysisk præstation, men også krydret med en masse gode individuelle ting for alle på holdet. Det kræver en holdpræstation at vinde i en svær liga og et mesterskabsspil, hvor alle hold er gode. Så vi skal bare ud på tvæerne og jage de 3 point for stregen.
Kan du beskrive tiden personligt for dig inden de her 3 kampe? Du har fået en lidt svær start, og så er du kommet lidt bedre i gang. her de seneste 3 kampe. Hvordan har det været sådan rent mentalt at komme til Brøndby og måske ikke lige spille som selv og som holdet havde håbet?
Altså man kan sige, jeg tror ikke, det har været anderledes for mig end for de andre. Det har jo ikke været en god periode for nogen, kan man vist godt sige. så det er jo ikke fedt. Man vil jo gerne gøre en god figur. Det vil alle på holdet. Så jeg tror, der er mange af os, der ligger lidt søvnløse om natten i ny og dag på skift og været frustreret over det ene eller det andet. Så det er bare, tror jeg, som jeg også sagde efter den 6-0 mod Sønderjyske, det er rart for alle, tror jeg, man kunne gå hjem med sænket skulder for en gang skyld. Og det synes jeg også, det virker til, folk har haft i den her uge, til trods for, at det var en dårlig præstation i Haderslev, men at folk har fået lidt mere overskud igen til ligesom at se forbi det og sige, okay, der er en kamp igen på fredag, hvor det jo så bare handler om at gøre det endnu bedre.
Tak for det.
Tak.
Win the Champions League?
Not Arsenal.
No,
Anyone but Arsenal.
Same,
So
bro.
yeah, I don't think tonight's game will be as entertaining as last night, but yeah, last night was really good. Best players in the world, so you expect that.
On Brøndby,
Yeah.
Sunday's game was not
No.
your best.
No.
How have you moved forward from that performance?
Yeah, I think Sunday was probably my worst game in a Brøndby shirt. I think, coming to a new country, it's always difficult, and new league, but I think I've done quite well up until this point, and Sunday's game was quite disappointing because I don't expect that of myself, and we don't expect that as a team really. But looking at myself, I know it weren't good enough, and like I say, it's disappointing because I think over the last few months, especially with the partnership with Ben and all the other players, we've kept a lot of clean sheets, which for a defender is brilliant. And I think I've had quite a good start, so that was a bit disappointing.
And now you might have to lose Ben in the next couple of games. How will that be, getting a new partner?
Yeah, I don't think... Ben's been good since he come in, but I also played a lot of games without Ben, so I don't think nothing changes personally. I think Rafa come on at the weekend and was brilliant, so maybe it's a chance for him. Obviously, Lauritson's here as well, another player who I played a few games with when I first come, so we know that there's a lot of talent down there, so Ben's out, the next one comes in.
Can you put some words into Rafa? He's made a quite impressive start.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. We know all the capabilities he has and how good he can be, but it's early days. I think he's played 2 games, probably a total, I don't know, 60 minutes. So it's difficult. You can't put too much pressure on him. He's just turned 17, but he said over there they're comparing him to Daniel Agger. It's probably not fair on Rafa, and it's probably not fair on Agger because Agger, they did this for years, and Rafa's had 2 games. But I've got a lot of confidence that Rafa will go on if he carries on doing what he's doing.
What went wrong, not just for you, but for the entire team on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know if we knew, then we probably wouldn't have lost 3-0, but we know that we didn't show as much. Probably, I don't want to use the word fight, but we didn't use. They ran more than us. They were first to every ball. They probably wanted it a bit more. I don't know why. I don't know if we were thinking about the 6-0 game. I don't know, but it was very disappointing. And football's funny because now there's a game Friday to put it all right and just try and move forward.
Quite an important game if you want to finish in the top 3.
Yeah.
Does that make it extra spicy, that game?
Yeah, I think so. I come here to try and play in Europe, and the club hasn't been in Europe for a while, and we know that how big Europe would be if we could get there. So it's a big game because, like you say, we want to win anyway. But if we don't win, we know that it's probably not possible. It's not possible to finish 3rd. But that's a added incentive.
And another big goal for you is, I guess, the World Cup this summer. Scotland qualified. Have you spoken to the national team coach?
I haven't spoke to him. No, I don't expect it because they've done brilliant to get there, and I don't think they're going to change the team now. And why should they? Because them players have got them to where they're going, so it would be unfair on them. But I think after the World Cup, it's probably a bit of an aging squad, so maybe a few players will retire, and hopefully that'll be my chance to step in. But I haven't spoken. We'll have to see.
So you'll be fine with the cheering at home?
Yeah, of course. I haven't played no games for them, so I don't expect to go and play against Brazil at the World Cup. It'll be obviously it'll be amazing, and I hope, but I haven't got them to that point, so I don't expect it.
And what do you expect from Nordsjælland? It's from the outside, it looks like a team that can lose to everyone, but they can also beat everyone 3 or 5-0.
Yeah, well, we saw I was suspended, but the game the other week, it could have gone either way. We went 1-0 up, and then obviously we threw it away last minute. And I remember when they come here just before the end of the first half of the season, we won 2-0. But yeah, again, they could have probably scored chances. I think they had one early on where I cleared off the line, and yeah, it can go either way. But I think that's how they play. They could score 4, they could concede 4. But yeah, we'll be looking to get a clean sheet and just win the game.
And your former club Coventry going to the Premier League, how was that to see?
Yeah, no, it's good for them. They've done really well. The manager's done well. The players have done well. It's a good club. They deserve to have gone up this year. But yeah, I think that everyone knows it's so difficult when you go up. So yeah, we'll see how they do next year.
Who are you rooting for next season then? Is it Tottenham or Coventry?
West Ham. I'm West Ham
West Ham.
fan. So yeah, West Ham and Gillingham in League 2. But yeah, obviously I'll have a close eye always on Tottenham and always on Coventry.
Thank you.
Good.
Louis.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll
Clearly,
see you
yeah.
next time.
Yeah.
Next season you'll be there.
Where are we going?
So Steve, after 2 good games and not so good one,
Yeah.
what does that do about your feeling about everything?
Yeah, a lot to sort of reflect on, isn't it? You know, in the last 3 games where, you know, we've not okay. There's the results, you know, of 2 wins and a loss, but it's I think the 2 wins were on the back of a lot of good aspects, and not just in terms of the football, but in terms of the attitude and the application and the commitment and the confidence. And in the end, you know, we know we have good players, and we know we have a good way of playing when we get it right, and that's why we got the wins. And then unfortunately we dropped our levels for this Onsdag away game. And having watched the game back numerous times, you know, it was as I felt when I was watching it live. We like I said, we fell short, you know, in our application, in our football attitude, and having such a poor start, we found it so difficult to recover. So there's some really good reference points from the last 3 games to go. If you commit, if you show confidence, play with a good energy, play with a good desire, then is how you win games. If you don't, like the last game, then you make it really difficult for yourselves. So yeah, really sort of disappointed with the last game, and I've been really clear with the players here in the analysis room and obviously the locker room, which will remain, you know, in there, what we talked about. But the players accept it because they knew, and they know, and they can't hide from it. So, but we're all together. There's no split. It's my job to tell them well done when they do well, but it's also my job to tell them when I feel it's not right, and they accept that. But they also accept the praise as well from the other 2 wins. And now it's about looking forward, moving forward, and aiming to do a much better job on Friday.
What about injury-wise? Is there anything new? You have 3 players who wasn't there today.
Yeah, so 3 guys came off on the last game, which, you know, didn't help as well. And it'd been something we've not done for a while, really, was play so many games in a little while. So we're hoping, you know, it's fatigue rather than muscle injuries, but waiting for the scan results because the lad sort of only settled down yesterday. So we've not risked anybody on the training pitch today, but hopefully, you know, we'll get them out tomorrow. And it's inconclusive whether the guys are available, the 3 that came off for the game on Friday, but we've got our fingers crossed and we'll make a decision from there.
If they're not ready. Rafa did a good
Yeah,
job.
he did
Would
excellent.
you start him if needed?
I'd have no hesitation in using Rafa, and I didn't have any hesitation in putting him on Onsdag, and I think we even talked after the Viborg game as well when we thought Ben might have picked something up in there. So I think, you know, players not available is part of football, whether it's injuries, suspensions, and that's why you have a squad, and that's why you have to train everybody. And if we need to call on some new players Friday, then, you know, I know they'll be ready, and we'll back them to do the job.
At defender,
Including Raf.
at defender you can't use for Sunday, but is back on training pitch is Philip Søndergaard, who's back at Brøndby. How's that having him back right now?
Yeah, it was the first day we've seen him back today, so I know that he had a very productive loan and performed really well, and obviously got senior games, which is, you know, that was the whole reason to go out on loan. I also know he's done really well for the national team, and it was had a big role in the 19s qualifying for the Euros in North Wales. in the summer. So he's in a really good place. So obviously they finished there in Holland, and now he's back with us, and we will use him when we can. We spent a lot of time with him in the winter camp as well, so we're very familiar with him. He comes back to us with some good experience, and obviously something to consider now going forward, planning for next season. But not too much yet. Just enjoy a couple of weeks with him training.
A player we haven't seen much to lately is Michael Lader, who's here on loan. How have you talked to him about his situation? Would make sense if he's not happy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody who doesn't play is happy. So, yeah, I think Michael will tell you he sort of had a bit of catching up to do fitness-wise when he first came, and that was something that sort of probably held him back initially, some things tactically in the last few games maybe have not helped him too much with availability in terms of, played sort of Valleys inside a little bit more, and I would imagine there's a bit of frustration, but like I said, very much part of the group, and available if needed, and will be ready. So it's just one of them things in football that sometimes you have players who are playing every week. Some are in and out, but some have to wait a little bit longer to get a chance. And footballers normally spend time in all of them phases. So it's just part of the game, and one you have to sort of keep going and be ready. And if called upon, then there's always an opportunity round the corner, as we know.
How has his reaction been to not even being on the bench the last two games?
Well, professional is what I would say, but I wouldn't expect anybody to be too happy with not being involved. So I'd say a normal reaction, but respectful and professional, definitely. Yeah.
You've got 3 other players, I think, coming back from loan this summer. How much have you been able to keep track of how they've been doing? Yeboah and Marcus Jonas and the last one. Yes,
and also Kotaro.
Yeah, Kotaro as well.
As well, yeah. So it's something that I know the club monitors strongly and watches all the games, and weekly reports, if you like, go around on how the loans are going. So it's something that we're on top of for sure. Yeah.
You closed most of the training again today?
Yeah. You always just ask me that.
Why?
Because of the pitch, if I'm being honest. So you see, did you go out on pitch one?
Yep.
We out there. You can see that the pitch is nobody's fault. It's difficult to train on. We're very lucky that the groundsman allowed us some availability on the stadium today. We didn't want to overuse it because obviously we need to protect that as well for the game. So it was just a matter of training on the best surface possible. That's all. And then I got asked about the corners being cut off or something. You couldn't see them, I didn't even know. So there's no secrets around it. It's the answer is that we just want to train on the best surface possible.
There's been a lot of talk about formation change, or at least a change of positions. How do you see that? Do you see this as a change of formation, or is it just a bit of a tweak?
Well, I think for the 2 games that we played well in, I just think we delivered the plan better than other games. So we haven't changed formation. We're always look to highlight certain areas of the pitch that can make a difference, and whether you play, I don't know, fullbacks high, fullbacks low, wingers inside, wingers outside. You're always looking to exploit areas on the pitch, and I just think some of the things that I've asked for from day one, we delivered well, and then two games where we got wins. I mean, for all of what wasn't good in the last game at Sonjuska, we still should have scored at least 3 goals, But that's, I'm not, saying that's a positive, or saying we were unlucky. We got what we deserved, but we are looking more of an attacking threat now, just because, like I said, we've delivered some of our attacking play better. On the attacking play, we've never been short of getting the ball in the forward areas. In fact, our numbers are good at that. What we have fell short on, the number of what we've done when we've got there, as we've talked about a lot. But in the last 3 games, it's something that's improved. It was the out of possession that fell way short in the last game, and the cohesion between the team, and it's clear that when we commit to the style and we commit to the plan well, we can be really good. When we don't, then it can not look as we want it, and we've seen all of that in the last 3 games.
So obviously, no closed season on Friday. Does that mean anything?
Well,
that it's going to be full.
Yeah, it always means something, because it's I think the atmosphere of Brøndby is obviously led by that, and it's always an honour to play in front of it, and it's special. So, a match day at Brøndby is starts and ends with the supporters, doesn't it? And what we've got to do on the pitch is match their performance off it on the pitch. So, So I don't know the ins and outs, to be fair, that there could be some sanctions going forward. I know that could be possible, but it's not for Friday. That's right, Soren, is it?
It's not Friday.
Friday. So, yeah, we got our supporters. Let's make sure that we give them something to be proud of.
3 games left. You can still reach the 3rd place. Yep. So, in that perspective, is it necessary 3 points?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's been like that for a while now. So there's no real change in that, but obviously games are running out. So, yeah, we want to win and we have to win, but it's how we win is going to be or what it takes to win, and it's the stuff that we've been talking about. To be fair, that we've seen some good sides of it, in 2 of the last 3 games, and we've seen a poor side of, like I said, certainly the out of possession. So we need to put all that together, give everything, and make sure the attitude is right, make sure the commitment's right. I'll give us the best chance of winning, especially here at home.
You could lack some defenders on Friday, but is Sean still not in contention?
Nothing's changed that.
Did you have Roby and Tuxen with you?
Yep, we did. Oh. Yeah, because obviously, we didn't want to risk the lads who, were waiting for confirmation of scans on. So, yeah, I mean, we have them boys train with us a lot anyway, so they're not unfamiliar faces to us, and always good to have them with us. Yeah.
What about Rafael Canut? He did a good job in the last game. Yeah, was you surprised about his? No.
No, I think he's. I mean, it's always nice to see. Don't get me wrong. When a 17-year-old, gets his initial games in senior football, and you want them to do well. I mean, it's not never a problem if they don't, but when they do, you want to get off to a good start. But Rafa's been with us a lot before the winter break, and he's more or less been with us all since, from winter camp all the way through. He has played some games for the 19s. He's obviously gone away and played for Denmark 17s as well and done well. So I think it's really important that young players, even when they're training with us, they get good match minutes. You've seen Vigo play the odd game for the 19s and early. So we feel like Raf's on a good programme. We're enjoying working with him on his individual programme as well, that we now take responsibility for. And if we need him, like Nana said, we will use him, no problem. But we're very happy with him, and I'm looking forward to see him fulfill potential.
Do we also have to be a bit careful when he's only 17, not to expose him too much to?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's development, and that's sort of management of individuals. So, yeah, and it's all individuals. The word, everybody's different. With Ambeck, for example, who isn't that much older. I've never worried about him coming out with the team and having a rest. I've always felt like he's been in a good place, and I know it's been when the team hadn't played so well, and maybe he hadn't felt like he was at his best. It's good to get through that, and he has that. So, yeah, it's important to know when to put players in. It's important to the young players, and important to know when to bring them out. But in the end, you have to take each day as it comes, keep them on the plan that you believe in. And, they do find their level in the end, and I think what is good is that we are giving young players opportunities. I know how important that is here, but also I think with the current squad and where we're at, I do see, I think it's important to give young players an opportunity to become senior players, because I think we're really going to use them, in the next year or so.
What do you think about the structure of the Superliga? Because now it's edging closer. There's a cup final, could influence if the 4th place get to play a game against someone from the bottom 6 for going to Europe. What do you think about
I think you guys can probably answer that better than me, and I'm not swerving the question. I think that it depends, doesn't it, which if you fall on the right side of things, you'll think it's the best structure in the world. If you don't, then you'll think the opposite. So I think it's obviously put in place for a reason, and when you put something in place, it'll always be debated. You know, should there be a top 6? Should there be a bottom 6? How long has that been in place for? How many years?
Since 16, I think. 10
Okay,
years
so
now.
10 years. So I bet there was a big debate around that at the time. You know, should there be 12 teams in the league? Should there be 14? I'm sure all of these things come up. So I'm sure there's rationale around it. And like I said, there'll be some years where teams will benefit from it and other years where they don't. So just got to take it as it comes. Really, what I'm focused on is just us trying to be at our best as much as we can. You know, this I've openly said there's so much that we want to improve in the level we want to get to. So I'm a bit more focused on that really than structures. But I enjoy the league. I enjoy, I can imagine there's so much going on, top and bottom, so much to play for. Even the last round of games of the top 6, every game was important, wasn't it? So it's that time of year which is exciting, and let's hope that we can have a positive end in Bromby.
The game on Friday against Northland. How do you see that game?
Yeah, it's the Northland are obviously very clear on how they play, and naturally when you go there, it's always a talking point about the artificial pitch, but they commit to the same plan away from home when they're on grass. So we know all about them, but we've got to make sure that we certainly after the last game, just do a good job at us being at our best and playing with energy, playing with heart, playing with an attractive plan to go and play well and win. And if we get it right, we know that we got a really good chance of being successful on the night. So always respect the opponent. Northland have some really good players. There's no doubt about that. There's some really good players, but so do we. And we've got to make sure that we go toe to toe. Of course, we're here at Bromby, at our stadium, and do our best to come out on top.
Yeah. Are you looking in particular for any of their players that you have to be extra careful about?
That's always the case. You look at our team lines up, their sort of tactical repetitions, and then you look at the players that can make a difference for them. So yeah, that's what makes the Superliga so good. Is the last game, Sonya's got really strong counter-attacks, and we give them too many opportunities to counter-attack. But it's always the case. But I go back to we've got to become a big team. We're a big club. We have the biggest support. We have the biggest scrutiny. But we've got to become a big team. And to be a big team, it's about concentrating ourselves on what we can bring to any game. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.